Jesus was not a carpenter. Now, this is not a trivia type poke at everything you know about Christ. The intention is to really just give you an understanding of certain things and how they affect how we understand him. So he was not a carpenter. The word, in the Greek word that described Christ in the Bible is the word tekton. Now, the word tekton is not actually, though it includes people who make stuff with wood, doesn't actually specifically talk to that audience of people. It also refers to builders. So anybody who builds, whether you are building a wooden thing or a mason, a builder of brick and stone, would be the same thing. The most likely reference or description of what Christ did for a profession was actually a builder rather than a carpenter. Now, this is very important because if you notice then the language that Christ used in all scriptures, he was actually using the language of a builder. He says, destroy this temple and in 3 days I will rebuild it. Now, the Pharisees are angry. They are so upset about this and they are offended at his statement. But why would he actually use those statements? Is because actually, a very interesting thing is historic records indicate that Joseph, his father, is listed as one of the builders of or rather the chief builders of the temple of Herod. And so when he says that statement, he's offending people because they are saying, so you're acting like this because your daddy built this temple, because your daddy is one of the people who built it. And so you understand that even his father was working in the temple of Herod. Most of you know the story of the temple of Herod as the builder, the chief builder in that place. And so Christ then was, through hereditary teachings of their time, he was then a builder as well. We see that it took almost 585 years to build this temple. So they had to hand off one person to another, hand off the construction of this. And that's why that part was there. So when you're reading in Matthew chapter 13, verse 55, it says, isn't this the Tekton son, right? We read that in English as carpenter's son, but isn't that the builder's son? Isn't his mother's name Mary, and aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? So we actually understanding that these people are referring to him, but the offense for Israelites, for the Pharisees, came from, who are you to say what took us 585 years to build, you can do it in 3 days? Because for them, they thought he is speaking from the source of entitlement because his father was the builder or one of the builders, chief builders of their time concerning the temple. So there's a very likely possibility that Christ was not even a carpenter. Instead, he was actually a builder because of interpretation of the word tekton.